Hello everybody, I am The Worm and welcome back to Danganronpa V3. So we are back in a very somber moment for our crew, and I'm gonna ask for your patience here. I've been, well, simply put, it's been a little while. It's been about a week, a bit over a week since I last recorded this. Back in the day, I used to simply I would record an episode every other day. But for quite a while now, I switched it up where now instead I try to have recording sessions where I record multiple videos just in one go. It was mostly because my schedule changed up a bit, and that's served me well thus far. But it does lead me to situations like this where, you know, we were in a pretty critical moment at the beginning of an investigation where I really need to be paying attention. And yet now it's been over a week and I need to remember everything. So, as I said, I'm going to ask for your patience as I try to get everything back on track. And of course, it's been over a week. I've been able to sort of, what would it be? Come to terms with what's happened. So, definitely a different mood starting out than I had in the last few episodes. Okay, so let me try to remind myself. Yes. Okay, so what we, of course, don't have to remind myself of this. We're down 2 thus far, both Angie and Tenko. And we're in this strange position where Monokuma has said that the second killing, that being the murder of Tenko, is a wasted kill. That's how he described it. So, even though, part of this leads me to think, well, okay, so we're gathering clues in relation to Tenko's death, but our main objective is to figure out who killed Angie, and Maki reminded us of that at the end of the last episode. So, I'm really worrying that at the end of this upcoming trial, we could have a situation where, well, it could be a couple things. And I think I mentioned this. We could have a situation where we do figure out Tenko's murder, and then we just have to deal with the fact that the murder, if the murder is a separate person from who killed Angie, we're gonna have to deal with the fact that this murder is just gonna be living among us, and I don't know how we're gonna deal with that. But there could also be the scenario where we don't figure out Tenko's murder. We should be devoting all our effort to figuring out Angie's death. And so I think it's a very real possibility that we don't figure out what happened to Tenko. And so it's the same as the scenario I just described, except we don't know who the murderer is. And that's pretty, it's nerve-wracking, for sure. So what we seem to have, our conclusion. One of the cross pieces support. Looks like there's blood on it there. Dripping quite far from where Tenko's blood was dripping. Can I go back down there now? I can. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so here's Tenko. Because that's more fresh, I think. And then there's this other dried blood. We heard a big thunk during the song. And I suppose we're thinking that was the lifting of this board. I suppose we're assuming the bloody sickle is a murder weapon. Where have we seen this sickle? Have we seen this sickle before? It came from the Ultimate Assassin's Lab. Okay. Good to know. We'll probably need to check that place out. Hang on, let me read that again. So, someone else who was bleeding was here? Or did causing that thunk cause them to bleed? But we don't see a trail anywhere. Maybe they patched it up or wrapped it or something? You know, what I'm gonna have to end up doing, most likely. Could the culprit have brought a light with them under the floor? I don't see why not. I'm probably gonna have to just, you know, I don't know how common it is. I think it's more common that you don't watch your videos back, but you know, in general, I don't sit down and watch my own recordings, but I'm probably going to have to do that. Oh, when I came to the hallway, oh no, what's happening now?
It's a lie!
Oh my goodness. Okay, I will say, Kokichi, you made my heart stop for a second there. That was, well, I was gonna say that was incredibly poor timed, but I suppose I should say, no, that actually was fairly well timed, considering you got the reaction you wanted.
Huh? Oh?
Oh. You're bleeding.
Why? Huh? That's so mean.
Got a minute?
Ah.
What now? What is going on?
Confidence! Dreams! That's what the Killing Game is all about! Killing Game fans! Hold your head high and watch with your own two eyes! Baseball, soccer, mobile games! They're all nothing compared to the Killing Game! The Killing Game just can't be beat! Behold, students! The entrance to the trial grounds!
What? No. Again, it's been a little while, but when I started recording today, I was kind of assuming I was going to have more time to investigate. I was not really prepared for this.
Oh. Huh? See? Man.
You should probably get that patched up. We don't have anyone medically trained, do we? No. Oh, here's an aside. Here's a tangent for y'all. I did see a comment. Someone mentioned, if we look at Kaito's profile here, look at his dislikes. Yeah, the occult. So, the whole time I spent worrying about him, I had the hint necessary to figure out what he was really going through. So that's that. Anyway, yeah, Kokichi, you should get that checked out.
That's not true.
What am I saying? I just said there's no one here with medical treatment or medical knowledge. Maki, you have a lot of knowledge on what hurts people. Can you reverse engineer that? I don't know what we can do here. Do we even have bandages? This is not good.
That's true. Do you want to die?
So wait, we're not even going to be able to... Oh my goodness. This is not good, everyone. This is terrible. I was thinking I was going to have another investigation episode, and then I would have that, and I could also look back at my previous episodes, and then get everything together before the trial starts. You're not going to let us back in here, huh? Oh, this is so not good. Okay, hang on. No, we're just going. Okay, so Kokichi wasn't just pulling a prank. I was gonna say, that really, if we were gonna have 3 people down in a... I mean... Wasn't it the case in DR1 that there was a limit? Or maybe it was... No, maybe it was just described as a wasted kill like that again. Maybe it wasn't strictly forbidden that you couldn't kill. It made no sense to kill. But I guess these guys didn't get the memo. Okay, here's a thought. What if, I'm trying to think. Okay, here's what I'm getting confused about. So, was Tenko the intended target? We have to ask ourselves that question. Because, I mean, I think, didn't Kyo volunteer first? Or maybe he just asked who wanted to do it. So either Kyo volunteered first or he asked who wanted to do it. Then, Himiko volunteered. But then Tenko stepped up and said, no, I should do it. So wherever, I don't know where the culprit was at this time or what their intention was. But I think it's fair to ask whether or not Tenko was who they wanted to kill. And, okay, so let's say Tenko is the one they wanted to kill. Why? Did she know something? Did she, or what? Man, and I think I'm falling into the trap this upcoming trial is going to set for me. I'm so focused on Tenko, but we have to remember that it's Angie's murder we have to solve. I mean, could it be possible that these 2 murders are entirely unrelated? I don't think that's the case. I think there has to be some connection. Maybe solving Tenko's will help us solve Angie's? I don't know. Oh man, I don't even know what to do. Well, let's get in here. Let's just get in the menu and then we'll talk.
Oh dear. Oh.
Don't worry.
Oh, hey, Kokichi. Looks like you're, recovered somewhat.
What? Are you okay?
Ah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, she did hit him, that's right.
That being said,
Hoo-yah!
Unacceptable.
rest in peace.
But... well, you know... I also... Indeed.
Got a minute?
I feel like that's important. Tells you what to do when you're in trouble, huh? That feels suspicious.
Jeez.
Huh?
That's right.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kaito.
All right already.
No, Maki, you don't understand. Kaito's the linchpin to this whole operation.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Huh?
I'm curious if... So Kokichi was trying to understand the seance ritual more. Is he suspicious of Kyo then, or what? Huh. So looking at our group here. I mean, okay. I could imagine a very sad scenario where, I don't know. Maybe I was trying to think, like, what are the worst case scenarios for the culprit? And one of them was maybe Himiko killed Tenko. Because I think you could say that Tenko and Himiko's relationship was pretty one-sided. I don't think that's I don't think that's very I don't think that's controversial. Himiko was always just kind of brushing her off. They did have a kind at the very end, right before Tenko died. Tenko did say some stuff that Himiko actually did seem to appreciate. But beyond that, throughout this whole thing, Himiko was kind of just seemed annoyed. And so I was wondering, a cruel scenario where, I don't know, Himiko, who's been taken in by Angie, maybe she blamed Tenko for her deaths in some way. Because she saw, didn't she? She was the one who saw us that night, the night before the murder. Or no. Oh, I need to think of the timeline. That night when we confronted Angie, that was the night of the murder, right? It was Tenko, Shuichi, and Maki. We went there and asked her to stop, and she said she wouldn't, and then we left. Himiko saw us that night, right? So maybe even if Tenko didn't kill Angie, maybe Himiko was upset over what she perceived as Tenko's betrayal, and so maybe decided to kill her? See, because the thing is... how often, though, if we're thinking Danganronpa, how often does motive really come into it? Because, what I need to do, and what I failed to do previously, is sort out all the evidence, and the alibis, and, you know, when was it actually physically possible for them to be there to do it? That's the thing. Now we're dealing with 2 deaths at once, so, oh man, I'm so nervous. Okay, let's just talk with everyone.
Okay.
Tsumugi had some comments earlier.
Please wait.
On your knees!
You're so dumb.
Well, I must say, Kokichi, I was actually thinking something like that.
That is not funny.
Maybe not a radio, but something. I would like to hear more details about that.
Listen up!
Shut up!
All right already.
It's a lie.
Kokichi, just once. I really wish I could rely on you. I mean, there have been times. There were a few times in the Kurumi trial where he did give us hints. But I mean, I feel like just as often he'll throw us off.
Damn.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Now then, extreme!
Okay. All right. Let's think. I need to remember all the names for all the different minigames. That might be good. I had some trouble with that. Well, that was because I just had... That was the dang ropeway, right? I feel like if I knew the answer, it'd be easier. Okay, so that's just a hint. Instantly silence me. Interesting. Interesting distinction there. I feel like that could be good. Not worry about health as much. That could be good too sometimes, because there are times I miss, or I just want to shoot again quickly. When is... What is fever time again? At least while concentrating, but when is fever time? I don't remember that. Maybe that would be simpler. Yeah, I feel like just getting back more health would be good. That would leave me with 4 left. What else is 4? Yeah, let's do that. And then I guess we'll save, because I can't think... Oh, that would be good too. I should save up for that. I mean, the timer stresses me out, regardless of how much time is on it. So, maybe it doesn't matter as much. Okay, so I think I'm going to definitively say we're not starting the trial today. Absolutely not. Let's use the remaining time here. We'll go over the truth bullets, then we'll call it, and then before I do the next episode, I will do my research and watch back over the previous episodes to make sure I'm caught up to speed before going into it. I think that sounds good. So let's reacquaint ourselves. Let's do this. Victim is Ultimate Artist Angie Yonaga. The victim's body was discovered in Ultimate Artist Research Lab. Time of death is approximately 2 a.m. The victim was killed by a fatal stab to the torso. Excuse me. The victim was killed by a fatal stab wound to the torso. Additionally, she had lacerations on the forehead. Why am I feel like I recall it saying the back of the neck. She's lacerations on her forehead. I remember that caused me to think maybe there was a situation where someone knocked her out and then someone else killed her later, maybe. Second victim was the ultimate Aikido master Tenko Chabashira. The victim's body was discovered in a vacant room on the 4th floor. The estimated time of death is 11 a.m. Okay, so it was Tenko who was the back of the neck. In the back of the neck. Trying to think. I mean, we're assuming the murder weapon was the scythe that we saw down there. What if it's going to be some crazy thing where the scythe was used to kill Angie, but actually that wasn't what was used to kill Tenko or something? Back of the neck. I mean, she was face down on the rock. I mean, I was imagining the scythe went through the floor, you know, and then in through her neck. But this is saying stabbed in the back of the neck. Huh. I mean, it wasn't like... I mean, she fit in the cage, but... So it was a big cage, but I'm just trying to think... Did someone crawl up in there and stab her in the back of the neck? Okay. Art Lab's front door. This door is a cylindrical lock. Monodum swallowed the only key, so it can only be locked and unlocked from inside the lab. Before Angie's body was found, the door was locked, but Kokichi opened it by picking the lock. Turns out you can also lock keys. You can lock doors through lock picking as well. Someone in the comments mentioned that. I still didn't. I probably should have looked it up, but that's fine. I'm perfectly fine believing that. So obviously Kokichi's kind of... He's somewhat suspicious for being the one among us who can pick locks, but I think at the time we were thinking that might be too simple. Tsumugi's account. Angie locked herself in the Ultimate Artist lab since yesterday, working on the ritual. She would not unlock the door unless someone from the student council asked her to. The student council members were Gonta, Kibo, Himiko, Tenko, and Tsumugi. So it's interesting that Tenko is still listed there. We know that Angie referred to what Tenko did as a betrayal, and yet she forgave her. I think because she said Atua wanted her to forgive her, something like that. So with Tenko being listed here, that makes me think that even after the betrayal, this is suggesting that if Tenko had called to her, she would still open the door. Okay. And again, if we are discounting that... If we are discounting Kokichi's lockpicking, then yes, it can only be these five, one of these five that would have gone in there. The question is, though, then how did they go out and lock the door? And then there's the other thing where we're thinking maybe there could have been more than one person at different times. Okay. We'll think about that later. Art Lab's back door. This door has a sliding lock. When Angie's body was found, the sliding lock was locked from the inside. The handle of the sliding lock moves at the slightest touch. Something gold and shiny was on the handle. So the gold leaf from the sword. That's right. So, we're thinking maybe whoever had that sword, they locked the door, right? Because it was on the part that you push to lock. So at some point in all this, the door was unlocked. And whoever had touched the sword felt it necessary to lock that door. Kokichi's lockpicking. Kokichi can lock and unlock the front door of the Ultimate Artist lab with his lockpicking skills. Yep, okay, we already talked about that. The 4 wax, or I should say, effigies hung upside down. The 4 wax effigies that were created for the resurrection ritual, they are exact replicas of the late Rantaro, Kaide, Ryoma, and Kurumi. They were hung upside down from the ceiling beams in the Ultimate Artist's lab. And we know that that is not part of the ritual. The ritual to resurrect someone. So who and why did that? Why did they do that? Was it Angie, or was it someone else? Necronomicon. Book Monokuma prepared as a motive. Angie attempted to carry out the book's resurrection ritual. The Necronomicon resurrection ritual. Prepare an effigy of the dead soul you wish to contact. Everyone may participate. The size and shape of the effigy are the size and shape of the effigy is irrelevant. Make it out of whatever materials you wish. If it's not obvious who the effigy is supposed to be, label it with the name of the deceased. After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution, be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times. Then close your eyes and wait. After a while, you should feel a light tap on your back. If so, that means the ritual was a success. The ashes are only good for one use. The ritual can only be performed once. Use it wisely. And yet, Angie created 4, and she made them exact replicas. Now, was this just her as an artist being carried away and deciding to, just for the sake of her art? Or was there another reason why she did this? That's my question. Forehead injury. Considering the laceration, the injury on the victim's forehead was not bleeding as much as it should. I don't remember that. Does that mean it was after her death? Huh. She was killed around 2 a.m., right? Yeah. Okay. Bloody duct tape. Bloody piece of duct tape stuck to her hair. The blood on it had already dried. The blood that was flowing from the back of Angie's neck created a pool. Duct tape, huh? Have we seen duct tape anywhere else? Nothing's coming to mind. Gold leaf katana. It was stabbed into the hung kaide effigy. Because the katana is so old, the handle's gold leaf rubs off easily. There was blood on the tip. Not too much blood, though. It was taken from the Ultimate Anthropologist lab, so only the sheath was left in the display case. Anyone could have entered the lab. Oh my goodness. Let's save that for later. Kibo's flashlight. A function that Miu had added to Kibo, he can emit blinding light from his eyes. You know, we did say when we were under the floorboards, someone would have to bring a light with them. And if they didn't bring a candle, then I'm sure this would suffice. I'm not sure if that's all that we need to throw Kibo in the suspicious category, but we'll keep it in mind. Dog statue. The wooden statue that was put on the top of the iron cage during the seance, it weighs about 175 pounds. Shuichi, Kokichi, and Himiko worked together to put it up and remove it from the cage. The white sheet. The sheet that was over the iron cage during the seance, it's very thick, cannot be seen through. There's blood on the back around the middle of the sheet, but there's no hole in the fabric. Kyo was the one who placed the sheet over the cage and removed it off the cage. Yeah. So how did that splatter get there? See, when I was thinking previously that she was stabbed through the floorboards. Now, I have to preface this by saying, I don't have much experience with stabbing people. That might be a shock to some of you, but yes, it's true. So I'm not... I'm only going off of a kind of a guess of how this would work. This, you know, blood splatters. I was thinking that she was stabbed through the floorboards, through the neck, and then, you know, the blood went through, you know, was... That's how it got to the fabric. But if she was stabbed through the back of the neck, then how does the blood stain go up into the sheet? Oh. Hole in the corner. Hole that was in the corner of the room the seance was held in. There is a space under the floor so you can see what was dropped there. Magic circle Kyo drew. The magic circle was drawn on the salt. It was drawn on the floor in the room where the seance was held. After Tenko's body was found, the magic circle was trampled on. That made it impossible to check the original shape. This was something that I'm thinking this might be what Kokichi was trying to confirm, maybe? Although I thought he said that everything was the same, and he just wanted to check out the finer details, so I'm not sure exactly. Marker stone, the stone that was taken, the stone that was by Tenko's body during the seance. Tenko had been crouched over in the iron cage with her forehead on this stone. Iron cage, the cage that Tenko was in during the seance. It was around 3 feet high and 5 feet wide. Oh yeah, there's plenty of blood there too. Shuichi and Kokichi placed this over Tenko, and Himiko removed it. Tenko's blood was on the bottom of the cage. Okay, so in the picture there on the left, we're saying it's flipped over because the bottom of the cage, on the left, it looks like it's the top. Alright. Tenko died in a crouched position. The injury on the back of her neck was deep, but probably not enough to kill her immediately. Ugh. That's something I don't want to read. Loose floorboard. Right below Tenko, it was not loose before the seance. Dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard. During the seance, there was a loud sound while it was completely dark. Small amount of blood that was on the ground under the floor of the room the seance was held in. It's quite far from where Tenko's blood was dripping. Crosspiece under the floor. One of the crosspieces that supported, one of the crosspieces that support the loose floorboard in the room that seance was held in. Only the portion that supports the floorboard was cut off. It wasn't broken naturally. It looked like someone had purposely cut it. The sickle that was under the floor of the room the seance was held in. The weapon came from the Ultimate Assassin's lab. The blade was about 6 inches and the blood was still wet. Blood was still wet, so we're thinking Tenko then. Because, wouldn't Angie's blood be dried by that point? Bloody Kokichi, while Kokichi was investigating the neighboring room from where the seance was held, he had stepped through one of the floorboards. That room had also had a part of the crosspiece cut off, the portion that supported that floorboard. Interesting, it was the same place. Well, it doesn't specify the same place, but interesting. Why? I mean, immediately I thought maybe, oh, they were practicing or preparing this. But how would they know? How would the culprit know that Kyo was going to do something like this in the first place? That's part of what confused me last time too. Because this whole seance business felt very impromptu. All right, Cage Child. Oh my. In order to perform the Caged Child, you need 5 people, including the spirit medium and a dark place with no light. First, draw the magic circle passed down from the Caged Dog village on the ground. Then the spirit medium must place on their forehead, Excuse me. Then the spirit medium must place their forehead on a stone and curl up like a turtle. They must do this at the center of the circle. After the other four must make the following preparations. Place the iron cage over the spirit medium. Then cover that cage with a white cloth. Finally, place the dog god on top of the cage. Take care not to step on the magic circle during the preparations. Finally, turn off all the lights to make it completely dark, and your preparations will be complete. The seance will commence. Once all four participants stand in the corners of the room, the four participants, not including the spirit medium, will sing the caged child song. After the song, ask, "Is the caged child?" Then say the name of the spirit. The spirit medium will reply with the voice of the spirit you have summoned. Okay, I read it, but did I actually digest that information? Here's the book that contains the caged child seance. Here's the actual instructions. There's the song. Oh boy. So, yeah, at the moment, I feel like Himiko would be kind of a tragic one if she were the culprit. Kibo sticks out because of the whole flashlight eyes. Plus, he was originally supposed to be part of the seance, but then he was dismissed when Shuichi came to join. So, at that point, Kibo's unaccounted for. We're thinking, of course, I don't think it's crazy to think Kyo is completely serious about all this stuff that he's doing, this whole seance stuff. So I feel like I don't think he would actively sabotage his own ritual by killing the spirit medium. Unless that's what he wants us to think, and he knew that we would think that he sincerely believes all this, and so he would never sabotage his own ritual, and then that's what he was expecting. No, I don't think so. At least not now. Kokichi did get bloodied, but the blood that we saw that wasn't Tenko's was already dry at that point. What does that mean? Tenko's blood was not dry, but there was other blood there that was dry. So, I guess presumably from the time whenever someone was down there, cut the cross piece, and wounded themselves somehow. And that blood is a remnant from that? Because it's dried. It was dried blood. Dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard. So this had to be way before... maybe around the time Angie died? How strange. Again, this is thinking that someone knew that someone was going to be using those rooms at some point and was preparing for that? Okay, so I'm thinking Maki and Kaito are probably cleared. I have to be careful though, because this is we're getting back to my bias, right? I can't just base this on feelings. I mean, we're thinking Kaito's whole deal with the occult is genuine, right? So I really don't think he'd be out and about doing all this sort of stuff. Unless that's what he wants us to think. I don't know. Tsumugi, I need to go back and look at the videos again. I remember she said something that... I think 2 episodes ago, or no, maybe just last episode. I need to rewatch it. She said something that made me somewhat suspicious about something about someone entering Angie, the Ultimate Artist Lab. I can't remember. Okay, at least started going into the trial. I will say, Tsumugi, Himiko, and Kibo are my suspicious people. Just starting out. That's what I'm gonna go with. If Kibo is suspicious because of the flashlight that gave, if it's true that he was down there, that actually raises an interesting question about maybe Miyu being involved, because she's the one that gave him that ability, the flashlights. What was the purpose of that? I need to go back and hear what her reasoning was for giving him those abilities. Maybe they're, and now Kibo's saying he's hearing a voice, listening to it because it gives him hope. And we know that Miyu was doing maintenance on him, right? I don't know. Interesting. Maybe something to consider. Okay. Well, this turned out to be pretty much just a normal length video anyway, so I think we timed it well. Definitely a bit thrown off how quickly we're going to the trial. All right, so we're gonna call it there. Next time, I'm going to go over the last couple episodes. I'm going to make sure I'm caught up on that. I'll probably run through the truth bullets again. Before recording, mind you. I'm not going to do all that again for you guys. And then, I guess we'll dive into the trial. Yeah. And I'll have to give myself a few reminders again before starting about how to more properly conduct myself while in the trial. Okay, that's gonna be it. I've been The Warm. This has been Danganronpa V3. I hope you're all doing alright, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.